The following information is intended for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect those of A Rude Awakening International nor this broadcaster. Should you choose to implement this information, please do so only with the assistance of a licensed medical professional. Neither the presenter, A Rude Awakening International, nor this broadcaster assume any responsibility for any adverse effects or consequences that may result.
It wasn't long ago that juicing was something reserved for health nuts and Hollywood high society, but now everyone's doing it. But it's more than just a fad. In fact, after you hear the astonishing information about benefits of juicing today on this show, you're going to run out and buy a juicer if you don't already have one. Because our guest today is Ann Melkmus of the Hallelujah Diet, and she's about to give you a health awakening.
A healthy person should be consuming up to 10 or more cups of vegetables every single day.
Welcome to the Health Awakening. I'm your host, Scott Laird. Juicing has exploded in popularity. If you haven't noticed, there are juice bars in almost every major city, and even grocery stores like Whole Foods are offering freshly extracted juices on site. Granted, you could do it at home for a lot cheaper, but many people give up after their first try because they made some odd, awful tasting concoction. And then there's bottled juice. But is that any good at all? And what's the juicing good for anyway? What's the big deal? As it turns out, juicing can be a very big deal for your health. In fact, many people have used juicing to empower their immune system to reverse even late-stage cancer symptoms. Plus, it's the best-kept anti-aging secret in the world. So how does it work? Why does it work? And how can you get in on it without spending a whole lot of time and a whole lot of money? Well, our guest today, Ann Melkmus, has those answers and is the Chief of Education for the Hallelujah Diet. That's an organization that for almost 25 years now has helped thousands of people around the world understand the power of going back to the original biblical diet of Adam and Eve in Genesis 1:29. And when they do that, they improve their health like nothing else on earth. Ann, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Now, we mentioned juicing is great for your health, and a lot of people have found that even blending their foods is good for their health. But there's a difference here. Just because you have a blender doesn't mean you have a juicer, right?
Isn't it amazing when you see on TV these advertisements and they say to you that you're going to get juice, but it looks exactly like a blender. So then people are misinformed and they think that a juicer is a blender, but they're really two different things.
Okay, so what does a blender do versus a juicer? What's the difference there?
So when you put some of your vegetables and your fruits into a blender, you're blending everything to a place where it is helpful from a pre-digestive point of view, yet you're keeping all of the fiber in there. And fiber is awesome, and people want fiber in their diet. And there is a wonderful place in your diet for blended vegetables. Excellent. But that isn't what juicing is. Juicing has a special machine where it extracts the fiber out of it, and the liquid in and of itself is just pure nutrition. And it goes directly into your body's into the cells so that it doesn't have to sit there and get digested from the fiber.
Okay.
I would tell you that the nutrition that you get from the juicing is off the charts.
Now, I've heard that, people say, well, all this pulp comes out the other end of the juicer, and some people feel really bad that when they get all this, they say, well, what are you supposed to do with it? Well, just throw it in the garden, and they feel like it's a waste. But it's not a waste, is it? Because the nutrition is
in the juice.
In the juice.
And you know what else is really interesting? If you happen to be in an area where you're not able to get organic vegetables, the beauty of it is the vast majority of the pesticides are stuck in the pulp.
Okay.
So you don't want it anyway.
That's right. I used to write advertisements for people like Monsanto and things like that before I woke up to the truth.
My goodness.
And that's what we learned, is that one of the best selling points of any herbicide or pesticide was what they call as rain fastness, which is basically it's oil-based, so it won't wash off when the rain comes. And so that makes sense. It's, I guess, what they call hydrophobic then, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So another wonderful blessing from juicing is if you can't afford or you're not having access to organic, then you're feeling as though you're still able to contribute a lot to your body without eating the pulp. because that's really pure, fresh nutrients from the juice.
Right, and all the pesticides and things will basically stick to the pulp, essentially.
Absolutely.
Right. Oh, and of course you want to wash the vegetables when you get them anyway.
You do, absolutely. But you don't need to go spend a bunch of money on all those fancy washes. You just wash it with a little bit of, you can go with vinegar, you can go with just plain old cold water. There's not a whole lot that's necessary for you when you're washing these vegetables.
Okay.
You don't need to make it really a big deal.
So it's not as complicated as it sounds,
No,
right?
it isn't, not at all.
What should you start with? Is there a baseline that you should start with any kind of juice?
Well, we really recommend that you actually juice your vegetables, but you eat your fruits fresh and whole, because there are so many sugars in your fruits that if you take and extract the fiber out of them, then what you're going to have is way too much sugar, and it gets into your system way too quickly. So your best bet is to go ahead and have just mostly vegetables. Carrots are wonderful. Yes, there are sugars in carrots, but the beauty of that is that there's a lot of vitamin A, beta-carotene. And so really that, in addition to all the other nutrients, that's a great base to start any of your juices.
Okay, so now if someone is diabetic, should they just ease off on the carrots and add some more greens? Is that a good thing to do?
I would probably go with a 50-50. So then you'd have 50% carrots and 50% leafy greens, and that involves celery. It includes, you can do all sorts of leafy greens. And my leafy greens that I use is collards and Swiss chard, dandelion when it's in season.
Dandelion?
Love it.
Really?
Excellent for the liver.
You use the flowers or just the leaves? Or
The
what do you use?
greens.
The greens,
Leafy
just the greens. The lesson learned here is you can experiment.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Some people really like a robust green. Some people like a little less strong green. So you just kind of play with it. But Swiss chard, collard greens, and kale are my 3 strong greens that I use all the time.
All right, so now there's some differences between blending and juicing that we've talked about. Juicing should be left for, what, in between meals? Because we said we didn't want to have anything in the stomach, right? You said it's best on an empty stomach?
Absolutely right.
Okay.
So one of the first things you do in the morning, instead of grabbing that coffee, grab a freshly extracted juice.
Okay.
Your body is going to be so happy. You're awakening all those cells with all those nutrients. What a wonderful way to wake up in the morning.
So we still want fiber, but it's best to blend it, I guess. You're chopping it up and having your body work less, like you mentioned with the juicing, right? It doesn't have to work as hard.
Really, for both of them, they give your body a real digestive break. What's really kind of nice, though, they call them smoothies nowadays, all right? But that's truly just blending up the vegetables. You can throw in some berries and things that are not necessarily quite so sugar, but blending up a group of vegetables is so helpful because you get much more nourishment that way. Most people have digestive issues anyway. What that does is it impairs their ability to be able to obtain these nutrients. So whether you blend them or you juice them, you're doing well. But juicing has some wonderful secrets that blending just doesn't quite have.
Okay, we'll get into more of that a little bit later. We are going to go to a break right now, but we'll be right back with Ann Malkmus, and we're going to go into the kitchen to learn how to juice and what to juice. Give you a couple of ideas. We'll be right back.
Michael Rood's message of truth is broadcast all over the world, but none of it happens without the monthly financial support of our Ambassador Club members. And right now, membership has more benefits than ever.
I'm giving into a ministry that is helping to feed other people that have the same hunger that I do.
The Ambassador Club stands out to me because Michael brings it forth with such zeal and life and truth. Who in the world else you gonna give to get the truth out and to share it with the world?
The Ambassador Club, we were given the opportunity on a monthly basis to know that we are giving our funds to a purpose that would make a difference, not only in our lives, but those around about us and in our world.
We're an ambassador because we feel like we're helping the world in a small way. And we feel so blessed that we could be a part of that.
Join now, and Michael Rood will send you the Ambassador Club Welcome Kit, an exclusive messenger bag stocked with teaching DVDs, Red Sea crossing cards to spread the word, and more. You'll also receive ambassador-only bonus gifts whenever you make a separate donation to receive the monthly love gift from A Rude Awakening International. Best of all, you'll get ambassador-only sale prices in our online bookstore several times throughout the year. Plus, exclusive invitations to Ambassador Club functions at A Rude Awakening events. Join the Ambassador Club right now. All it takes is a modest commitment of $100 per month or an annual gift of $1,200. We'll send your welcome kit right away, and you can start enjoying your love gift bonus items immediately. Call now or visit the A Rude Awakening website to join the Ambassador Club.
And welcome back to the Health Awakening. Our guest today is Ann Malkmus of the Hallelujah Diet. And we are going to show you how to juice. We're in the kitchen, and we have a Green Star juicer in front of us here. I know this to be like one of the best ones, and it has some gears in the middle there, and I think this one's a slower juicer, right?
It is. It's a twin gear, and it does slowly extract the liquid from each of the vegetables in a way that makes it less oxidizing, because the more oxidizing, then the less nutrients.
And you get that from the oxidizing, the heat and the air from the centrifugal ones that spin around and around, the ones you get at Walmart for $100 or $200, right?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, if you can't afford anything else, those are fine. But if you really do have a life-threatening illness, you may want to consider getting a quality juicer that helps you extract all the work that you put into this. You might as well get the best nutrition out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's start it up. Let's do some here. So what have we got here? We got some kale.
You do. You've got some gorgeous kale,
Okay.
and this is available all year long. Celery is so good for you.
And it's